Yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Facebook page of Purnam Ecovision Foundation and YouTube channel Apala Paryavaran. So today is our 29th webinar of the webinar series, which we have started under Awareness Initiative. Since August, we have been conducting these lectures every Wednesday, 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. live. So today is 29th webinar, which will be focusing on career opportunities in environmental domain. So before starting it, I would like to make a special announcement. We have conducted a mega drive on the coming Sunday, that is 28th February 2021. So I want to appeal to all the citizens of Pune city to participate in this mega drive. Why we are conducting this drive is we want to sensitize all the citizens of Pune city and make them a habit of disposal of e-waste and plastic waste in a systemized manner. So we have various social organizations which have taken this initiative along with Pune Municipal Corporation, and you can donate plastic waste and e-waste in the centers which we have allotted around 300 centers all over Pune city. So we have released various flyers, posters, pamphlets on social media. So you can scan a code which we have given on each flyer and poster. There you can find the list of centers, and also we have posted these informations on the Purnam Ecovision Foundation's website as well as Janvani's website, which is www.purnamecovision.org and www.janvani.org. So on both of these websites, you can find the list of centers. Also, what all can you donate in this plastic and e-waste? So in plastic, as you can see in the picture, water bottles, plastic bags. So if you clean it properly and if you donate it, we shall accept it. This waste is going to be refurbished and recycled. Secondly, what can you donate in e-waste? So in electronic waste, you can donate DVDs, players, VCR players, computers, or TV monitors. And in electric waste, you can donate refrigerators, washing machines, small electric appliances which we use at home. So this all will be refurbished and it shall be donated further. So if you donate a cell phone or anything, this shall be donated further. So also we are providing a solution of systemized e-waste management, which you can see on the slide. The next thing is this mega drive details, which you can see on the slide, is Sunday, 20th February. Again, I shall repeat it. 300 plus centers we have allotted across Pune city, and the timings are going to be 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So please don't forget and donate as much as you can. So this is the QR code which you can scan for the centers list, and these are the helpline numbers on which you can contact. So thank you so much for listening patiently. Moving on to the webinar, I would like to introduce CEO of Purnam Ecovision Foundation, Dr. Rajesh Manirikar sir. Welcome, sir. Sir, I would request you to welcome our today's speaker, Mahesh Shindikar sir, and let us know about the speaker and the subject.
Thank you, Tanvi. This is today we have eminent guest Dr. Mahesh Shindikar. He is from COEP, College of Engineering, Pune. He is basically a botanist. So he has a PhD in botany in 2006. Before that, he has done MSc and MPhil in botany. So he is basically botanist, and then now working as teacher, a hardcore teacher and a researcher in botany, and as an advisor and expert member in various committees of central government and state government. He is basically advisor for NGOs working in ecological conservation, restoration, and environmental awareness projects. So he is sort of socio-technical combination. so that the audience of this webinar will have a proper speaker for today. He is basically expert member of Maharashtra Coastal Zone Management Authority, MCZMA, Government of Maharashtra, and expert member of Wetland Redressal Committee, Konkan Division, Government of Maharashtra. So, and presently he is associate professor in College of Engineering, Pune, especially in Applied Science Department in College of Engineering. Our personality in especially in botany and ecology. Let us hear more from him in this webinar. He is talking on a special subject, that is opportunities in environmental domain as such. So he will be focusing on various interesting areas that will be really helpful to you. I would request all of the viewers to post their questions on the chat section so that they can those can be answered. I am sure that Dr. Shindikar will guide you in variety of ways, and where the inspiration from him will be help us for our future. Thank you, Dr. Mahesh Shindikar. It is now open to you. Thanks.
Yes, thank you very much, sir, for those nice words. Rajesh ji, Tanvi, because of the efforts of Tanvi, we are using this platform very effectively and efficiently. So I thank Purnam Ecovision Foundation as well as Apala Paryavaran YouTube channel for sensitizing people by making a very wise use. This is the term that is used in various environment related things these days. So wise use of the condition, situation. No doubt, smallest organism on this earth has challenged our own life. But in this also, in this challenged or marginalized condition also, we have to understand and find out our own ways to help each other, and no doubt find our own ways to struggle with the situation for the betterment of our future. Coming back to our discussion, let me thank again Purnami Covision and Apala Paryavaran Group for having this platform available for people, like-minded people, to come together, share their ideas, exchange their knowledge, and help each other for the betterment. I also extend my wishes for the very appropriate drive, mega drive that they are planning to have in near future in the coming weekend. And I once again appeal all the viewers to actively participate in this. What we have to do is nothing, whatever plastic waste that we have at household or in our workplaces, we just have to gather it, and in proper fashion we have to submit it to them for proper recycling. So plastic is one of the very important challenge. E-waste, every day's newspaper is talking on that. The problems related to the growing cities like Mumbai, Pune in Maharashtra, and all across the country, and all the developing and developed part of the universe. So today we are talking about some career opportunities in the domain of environment, and I have suggested and purposefully I have kept in bracket the word non-conventional or non-traditional. So I think this is 29th lecture as indicated by Tanvi in the beginning, and just to have glimpse for those who could not attend earlier sessions, I have requested to share what are the areas that were covered in all earlier discussions. And in our culture we have to 27 nakshatras, and all these different areas are already covered. So starting from the birth of this environmental career opportunities, so the first session was for green jobs, and uh, in due course we had different sessions on various positive things, how plastic can be converted into fuel, how waste can be managed as a wealth, what are the different implications that are related to air, water, soil, noise, all other qualities. What are the career options in the recent fields like environmental monitoring, in the treatment of water, in the treatment of wastewater, how biofuels can be explored, what is the pedology, how different creatures like honeybees will help us, how the insects will be useful as designing our entrepreneurial management skills in the field of environment, how biodiversity will help us, how plantation schemes of bamboo will be useful for economy, how what is the central theme of circular economy, so on and so forth. So all these major topics are covered in the sincere efforts that were conducted from the August 2020. So this is a very significant thing. Why I have requested them to come out with these brief background is to avoid repetition, because as we promote some of the important environmental concepts these days, especially the younger generation is always talking about career options. What will be the economics that is involved in all these uh, aspects, all these domains that we are going to discuss, that we are going to do based on our own liking, based on the available options. How can we go ahead and how can we find our own paths? So it is a mixture, in my opinion, of arts, of science, and engineering or technology. So the days have gone where very with proud sense we can say that I am specialized only in the mm, plants. So I can identify plants and that's all. I can't go beyond identification of plants. But the days have come where you have to break all the walls of differentiation, of classification, and go one step ahead, join your hands. Working independently will be the great restriction for all of us to excel. And for that, we have to join our hands. You have to share innovative ideas. You have to find out the recent techniques. You have to minimize the cost for its better implementation and use by the end users, so on and so forth. So there are many challenges. So in this journey, for next some 30-40 minutes, what I would request everyone that in whatever field we are working in, can we correlate ourselves with some of the people from other domains which are traditionally not related to environment, but can we associate them with us in order to strengthen our efforts for the betterment? So a simple case that Tanvi has given us a um, code to scan. And once you scan it, these days it becomes very easy for all of us to understand, to relate us to that set of information. So all the 30 collection points will be clearly displayed on your mobile screen, and you can find out the nearest one to hand over the plastic that you are collecting. So this is somewhere the people from IT sector can join us. They are least interested in for what the codes are used. But at the same time, what is very important for us is to know more about how this uh, information can be shared with larger group of people. So an expert in that particular field. Very recently, we have tried our best to ask our students to generate these codes. And commercially, whatever codes are available, they have limited span of life. So maybe after 2 months, 3 months, or 100, 200 days, these will automatically stop functioning. But is there any process to generate these codes which can be stored in our own database, in our own server, and that can be used for longer duration of time? So the task was given to the students, and if the second year students from IT computer branch can give us idea that how these codes are generated in-house. Can we generate them in-house? Can we store, link them with the set of information? And at very pilot scale, we have started this particular exercise in our own campus, because we have a number of trees, and these trees are already numbered. We have the information of these trees. We know the phenology, the changes, seasonal changes that are shown in these plants or trees, and we know the medicinal value of the trees, application, the birds that prefer these trees, the ecological significance of the trees, etc. So this whole set of information pertaining to that tree can be correlate by making use of such code. And that is the simplest work that we can do. The person who is involved, who will generate the codes for me, may not be a person from environment. He may not be interested in knowing all the plants, but at the same time, his contribution will be very significant and valuable for me to to have a module for this particular project. So with this very simple thing, as explained by sir in the beginning, I am part of some of the activities that are taking place at the level of government. And many a times we often say that uh, all the interactions, all the process, all the procedures are to be transparent, and any user should be able to have access. And every time he should not take help of RTI to get smaller data. In case suppose you find anything that is going wrong around you, you should nowadays it is very easy for you to capture that by making use of your mobile. On your mobile, you have the latitude, longitude, and you just have to share this data by making use of the official website of that particular redressal unit. And without sharing anything, because you have your mobile number, you have the photograph, you have the date and time, you have the geographical coordinates with you, and everything can be very easily shared. So without going into formalities of getting that paper and writing your complaint, easily you can communicate with the this authority which is involved for making some decisions. So this is very significant thing that has that is gifted to us by this era of information. So huge amount of information. For example, recently municipal corporations have been asked to conduct the tree census. Now, at one click, now you are able to get idea of different parts, the zones, the wards, which are the different trees, how many is the, what is the total number, what are the different tree covers that you have, how many species do we have, what are the different growth phases of that species, what is the total, for example, litter fall. Today, really speaking, we do not have basic information. I will certainly discuss some of the gray areas on which really, as a responsible citizen, as a part of non-government organization or government organization, we should seriously work for this. For example, if you know that there are 10 trees around my house, and if I have the idea about the on an average litter fall from that particular species, then you can really count along or down the line in the year, what is the total amount of waste that is generated and which is degradable waste, which we can use for some meaningful product, or which we can subject to for some acceptable process. So all this is possible today with one click. Only thing is the basic information that is required. Who will identify that plant? Who will tell me the total mathematics and statistics that is involved in case of the litter that is generated? How can I collect very systematically that litter? Where can I have the collection point? How can I process it to the appropriate level? So all this can be discussed, and it is very much possible now for us to understand and gauge the fate of the uh, set of information that we have in our hand. So all these points that are already discussed, I think we need to amalgamate. We need to put all these efforts together and provide a very acceptable and interactive platform for interaction and cooperation for the betterment. So this is all that is kept for here in our understanding. This discussion starts somewhere where in the green jobs, and if you see uh, a panoramic vision of green jobs is very clear. And if you screen most of the countries, especially the developed countries, you will find magnificent scope is showcased for these green jobs. And what are the advantages of these green jobs? They are unlike earlier regular jobs, they are decent jobs. There is a green tag attached to these jobs. They are environment friendly because we are doing something for the betterment of our surrounding. There will be equality. So it will not discriminate you by means of your gender, by means of your caste, or so on and so forth. Any social discrimination will not be there, because here people are joining this as a part of the movement. And that's why equality is another very important tag attached to these green jobs. It will certainly give fair income. Now, a very simple example that we have experienced in our own town, that is the workers that are involved in collecting the waste, household waste from door to door collection system. So this simple system of collecting the waste, segregating the waste, and drawing the resource from that waste into wealth. So this particular aspect will also give them fair income. So it is not only supporting their day-to-day needs, but it is giving them very handsome income source. So some secondary achievements are also possible with the help of these green jobs. In addition to that, as we are doing it for the environment, we are very cautious to have this as maintaining of safe working conditions. So these green jobs, if we screen, there are n number of green jobs, and these days we are always talking about top 5, top 10. So couple of jobs that are very relevant, and most probably the details of each one of these jobs might have discussed in the earlier by the earlier speakers and experts. But what I could significantly find is the job that is at very higher position, equivalent to the CEO of the company, which is meant for, or which is addressed as Chief Sustainability Officer. Now, this Chief Sustainability Officer is somebody who will not negotiate with the business model. So he always has the task of growth or growing economy and sustainability in getting the profit for the industry or for the business. But at the same time, he has to ensure that it should be environment friendly. All the links, all the elements that are associated with their business will have some green links. So development of maybe may it be for transport, may it be for energy, may it be for any other use of raw material, may it be for the treatment of waste, may it be for reduction of emissions. But this chief sustainability officer will have win-win situation always between the growth of the company, growth of the industry, and the environment friendly uh, relations that it develops with the nature, with the surrounding, also with the workers and the clients. So all that is nicely achieved with the involvement and intervention of this sustainability officer. So, like CEO, he will be the next person who will control and monitor the development and growth of any business in this aspect. Another important job is of urban planner. Here, mostly in the government system, because in our all earlier traditional ways, we have not trained the planners to have specialization. But any civil engineer with minor training, we have absorbed in the jobs of urban planning, and that's why today in various aspects we are facing the problem, because though we have a good amount of manpower, it remains unskilled because of lack of proper training. One of the very important component, and I can really find that if I screen the syllabus set for most of the urban planning education systems, it has only a small component or only a superficial component of related to environment, but in-depth understanding what is where the world is going, what are the future tasks, what are the major challenges, what we have to do for the betterment of environment, how best I can make the space available for maintaining 33% the minimum required greenery for any urban sprawl. Where should be the solid waste management located? At which site? Who will help us? Will the Windrose model help me in deciding where the location should be? Where shall I plan for dumping of solid waste? Can I reuse the stone quarry for that? How long it is? What is the total transport that is involved? Can I go for some smart transport mechanism? All this is possible. Very simple example. Where should, in case what we have experienced recently, where is the ideal location for the corona patient to develop the jumbo hospitals, for example? So who will decide that? It is the job of urban planners who will be equipped with all other angles of environment, health, other very important issues related to the person, the user end, as well as the administrative end. So this balance for the environment uh, has to be planned with scientific detail. So ecological, environment-friendly planning is very important aspect that is to be considered under green job. So that becomes the responsibility. No doubt, all these applied aspects, whenever we are discussing, very basic thing. Now we are suffering from flood. In the past, we have destroyed many wetlands. We have conducted the activity of reclamation. We have not taken proper care of the uh, water bodies. We have not taken care of the geological details that support or may not support the futuristic development. And ultimately, more than our basic and traditional understanding about meteorology, can we go ahead and talk something at very larger level with respect to climate? What are the changing climatic conditions? How these global picture scenarios are affecting at local scale? So climatologists are not restricted now to the conditions of weather. So more than a meteorologist, they have to understand the dynamics of climate and what happens, what are the different forces acting, what are the different impacts that are possible, what will be the impact on water bodies, what are the impacts on agricultural crops, what are the impacts on forest resources, what are the impacts on my transport, what are the impacts on the industry. So all these has to be understood in holistic manner by the or with the help of the climatologist. Whenever we are talking about various problems, their assets, their limitations, uh, whenever this particular aspect becomes interpersonal, intergovernmental, inter uh, state, then there are some problems. And these problems we have to sort out by taking help of law, rules, regulations. So there are internationally, nationally, and locally prescribed rules and regulations. So this regulatory framework has to be studied, and for from the angle of environmental sustainability as well as from the angle of people, how these laws can help in regulating the impacts activities which are creating problem. And for that, we need a very good lawyers, trained lawyers, which are specialized into environmental law. Many a times what happens, lawyers, and that is the very reason where for all green benches, most of you might have heard about national green tribunals. So across the country, we have different benches which are established specifically to treat and at priority environmental cases are to be handled. So in addition to the expert from judicial side, they are supported with an expert from environmental side. So we need a very good uh, batch of lawyers who will understand these environmental issues in total, what are their impacts, how this case can be solved, how the amicable options can be explored, where minimization of the impacts and maximization of the protection and conservation is possible. So this has to be sorted out by the set of environmental lawyers. On similar grounds, there are various accreditation systems these days. Um, Mostly till date, they are restricted to various industrial processes. But nowadays, it is now expanding into each and every corner or each and every aspect of our life. Now, this accreditation, for example, lead accreditation. So we need to have proper training. No doubt we will discuss in detail what happens with this accreditation. Recently, in last year, United Nations Climate Action Summit has discussed some of these points from the point of view of labors and what should be the stage, what should be the protective measures that we can offer to the laborers. So transforming the economics and societies is the ultimate goal. So it is not only economics we are playing with, but we have to respect the concerns of the societies. So it is not just a transition, but it is maximization of benefits that traditionally we are getting out of the resources, out of the services from the natural inputs and minimize the hardships. So whatever earlier generations has struggled for, those hardships are to be reduced with the significant intervention of science and technology, which is targeted in this climate action summit. So social protection is the ultimate task with the development of, as I said, skilled labor force. So whenever we are planning for waste management or reduction in air pollution or treatment to the water bodies. So all this requires skilled labor force. So it is not effectively possible with non-skilled laborers. That is the real problem, and people are facing, especially in the developing countries, skilled laborers and the sophisticated techniques are to work together. So here we have to always enterprise innovations. So what are the different innovative ideas? And these ideas will certainly differ from place to place. So we have to count them case by case basis. So you cannot have a common solution which will work in Vengurla, will work somewhere in Washim, and same thing will work in Ahmedabad. So everywhere you will find the different case to case by case solutions, similar. So in addition to that, what we have to understand is resilience, how to compete, how to understand, how to survive in this challenge situation, conditions, that has to be developed. And for that, we need, no doubt, financial support. So investment has to be there. And whenever we are talking about quality, we always talk about the competitiveness. Unless and otherwise, we may not get good quality or essential quality of processes or mechanisms that will be developed. So, in addition to that, a decent and fair, all-inclusive jobs are to be made available to youth. That is ultimate motto of these green jobs. And if you screen the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, uh, these climate action points will try to touch different sustainability goals. So poverty eradication, gender equity, no discrimination, equal opportunities for terrestrial life, for underwater life, then minimization, technological interventions, cooperation between the states. All this is possible at this stage if you seriously follow all these international agreements, rules, regulations, conventions, and laws that are framed in line with these conventions. So, three basic targets with which most of the environment related things are talking today. It is to improve the efficiency of energy, it is minimization of waste, because there are only two ways in which we interact with the nature. Either we use some natural resources, or we are creating some waste which we dump around us. So these both these ways are, or both these interactive areas can be restudied, reworked, and then very positively we can work either for the efficient use of the natural resources in a way to reduce the excessive use, and in the second option we can treat our waste to the level where they will least pollute or least create problem in the surrounding. So these are the areas that we have to understand at this juncture uh, in this field of green jobs. Let us quickly go through some of the aspects where I will try to emphasize more onto non-conventional or least explored areas which can easily contribute and for the betterment of environment. As I said, for example, the experts from biodiversity, we have documentation. So these functional areas are waiting. For example, uh, in your informal discussions also, you must have realized that experts, especially in case of animals, insects, the neglected groups of some of the animals. So birds, there are a number of experts available. Butterflies, there are a number of experts available. But for mollusks, the experts are very less. Uh, for example, for angiosperms, there are a number of experts available. But for ferns, for algae, especially the freshwater and marine water algae, there are less experts available. So we have to have more documentation. We have to link these experts. We have to use their kind of excellence and expertise in the respective field. We have to share. All that we have in our hand is the technology which we can effectively use. So the expert maybe at very senior stage may not be able to do the explorations and may not join for the field work, but can we use the technique where remotely he can advise us, remotely he can guide us, remotely he can help us in knowing the particular species or documenting particular event under this domain of biodiversity. Can we set up cameras? Can we have, like we have CCTVs to uh, support the policing in a local scale? Can we have such kind of monitoring to know more about forest fires? So they are man-made fires or natural forest fires, which are resulted into considerable or significant loss of natural resources, wildlife. Can we very nicely use them in environmental impact assessment process? So many a times the local experts, the local observers, uh, unfortunately, they could not come with the standardized data and where they lack. So can we provide, can we equip them, can we give them some training? Many a times what I have observed that there are cases in, for example, NGT or High Court, where the complainant comes with very valid proofs, uh, a series of observations, documentation, everything is there. But once the case is discussed or the verdict is given, all this data, which is otherwise very significant, very important, very valuable, and which involves the expertise of many, which involves the observations by many, and for longer duration, go literally west. So can we get this data, because it will be certainly useful for generating the local scale biodiversity document, local scale pollution document, local scale files for various aspects of the environment. So we really require intervention from different disciplines. Those people may or may not interested into all the minor things that are related with the environment, but at the same time using their own skills, making their own interventions. Can we have this association for ultimate use of in the field of, say, biodiversity? Same thing applies for chemistry. Can we manage our resources very efficiently and treat our waste? So these are the effective measures that we can have. Whenever we are talking about treatment of waste, can there be documentation from our traditional wisdom to treat the waste at small scale? Can we scale up this particular idea? Can we use that at larger scale? Can we intervene with some technological advancement in the same traditional method to optimize it? Can we reduce the use? Can we have more and more recycling and reusing of the material? Can we plan for the mechanism where a product of one industry can become raw material of the other industry and vice versa? So in nature also you will find there is always give and take, wherein one, for example, photosynthesis and respiration. So what is synthesized in photosynthesis automatically becomes raw material for the cellular respiration, and what releases out in cellular respiration becomes raw material for the photosynthesis. So can we have development of such clusters uh, while planning for, again, I will go for planning where uh, it is not only a blind or open-ended invitation for any type of industry, but can we have group of industries where you can have this arrangement wherein the waste can be segregated and used meaningfully for the next product by, from the other industry. Can we have this? Can chemistry help us in that, managing all the resources, putting them together and involving them in the larger management issues? Same thing is with health, especially when we are talking about biomedical waste. What are the important problems? The household at very nominal scale, whatever the health or biomedical waste are generated, how can we decentralize the treatment? So shaving blades that we are using, it is very difficult every time to throw this categorically under the biomedical waste. So can we develop some mechanism for this segregation? What are the different health related aspects? Health in at very larger scale, where plants, animals, and microorganisms we have to consider together. So how we can understand them? So basic scientists, for example, plant experts or experts of animals and microorganisms, independently certainly would try. But can we join their efforts? Because there are already compartments between them. So you need somebody who is unbiasedly getting the data from all these experts and processing it for the meaningful application. So do we have a data, for example, suppose I have three industries, paper industry, sugar industry, and some other refinery. Can, can I get a collective waste, and can I design something which is more important and more simple and effective treatment given to the uh, waste which is combined together, which is collected together, and that is resulting into different features, characteristic features of the waste. Same is true with agriculture, which nowadays talk about crop protection, the protection of biological diversity, the genetic level diversity has to be stored, the indigenous varieties are to be restored or protected and conserved uh, without negotiating their ability of natural breeding process, qualitative and quantitative waste that are generated through agriculture. It is very clear that agriculture has huge amount of waste that is generated, which because of the pressure of economy is unnecessarily subjected for uh, environment or for the creation of environmental problems. At the same time, very recent examples of using them as a using these byproducts as uh, source of energy or biological energy source. So such options can be explored where we need expertise from many people. We need an engineer who will develop all this for us, who is not expertise in who knows only how boiler works or what is the how I can design a particular boiler on specific demand. So he may not be interested in what is to be done with agricultural waste, but he may contribute very significantly. So we have to join all such knots which are distantly placed because of our traditional system. And today we have to use this concept of cooperation and share for making all this possible. Same is true with awareness to the academicians, to the research people, and to the grassroots level. Because nowadays you might have realized that this awareness has uh, effectively worked in many cases. Even whenever we are planning for organizing national or universal uh, programs, then we have to talk about environmental sustainability. There are specific standards that are developed. There are mechanisms that are used, technologies that are shared. So all this is possible because of the mere awareness. The best example is awareness about the noise and the impacts that it creates for the human being and for other when you are exposed to higher levels of noise for longer duration of time. Now, this simple awareness has been nicely reached to the last person in the society so that he also can raise the voice against the noise which is other than the prescribed limits or time durations, etc., etc. So awareness is very important. Where tools and techniques, I think there was a session where we can find our career in GIS. Similarly, remote sensing, unbiased data can be obtained nowadays. It is publicly available. Very high resolution data is made available. So people who are expertise in it, expertise in geography, expertise in the algorithms, expertise in finding out the remote sensing data, how best they can be involved in application part of the environment, how molecular biologists can be used for better health agriculture services, how we can generate the degradable options or options that are environment friendly, ecologically sound options for us. So least explored areas in this field are unfortunately, because of the economic limitations and the overall structure, the in case of India, evolutionary significance because it involves repetitive observations. It involves uh, direct involvement. It needs long-term studies where you may not get immediate publications or immediate results, and most of these are accidents. So how can we get all these data without the support of government or any non-government or organization? We fail many a times. We are happy once we get some results, but in order to find out some patterns and processes, we lack that particular consistency. We lack that particular chasing process to understand the patterns. If there is some environmental problem, how common it is, why it is observing at particular location, what is the seasonality involved, what are the different plants, animals they are contributing for this. So there should be some analysis which unfortunately is lacking, and we need experts for in that area also. Similarly, many a times we just comment passively on qualitative aspects and quantification. In many cases, it can be waste, it can be resources at both these ends. Quantification, how, what exactly, what is the digital expression of that particular pollutant or what that resource of that mineral, for example. So this quantification, how can I quantify the things? Even today, there are problems. We do not know as compared to, we generally use or adopt the westernized models. The forests that they have are very common type of forests which have less diversity, more of a monotonous type of vegetation. Here, if you compare, the calorific value of every plant will be different. The growth pattern will be different. The number of leaves will be different. The shade will be different. So all this quantification, the rate of photosynthesis would change. That too, the mango plant, for example, present in Konkan area will have different statistical expressions than in Western Maharashtra, than in Vidarbha and Marathwada. So this comparative quantitative approach will certainly help us in knowing more about what are the resources that are present in our hand, and very importantly, documentation of all these indigenous techniques. So we fail, we do many things, but we fail in documentation. I think somewhere we have to give credit to Britishers because they have taught us to do the documentation, arrange the data in very systematic fashion. And many a times we fail to do that. And this documentation, where you require expertise in humanities, expertise in literature, expertise in media person or field of communication, they can really associate with us and have or help us in documentation process. Same thing here, I would continue with the media. So, for example, in humanities, after graduation, if you are interested, you can become a media person. You can use any domain of print, audio, visual, social. Nowadays, the social media is very effectively, it can be used, and they can help us in documenting the environmental related things. What are the different patterns, or what are the different methods of water conservation adopted in the historic or prehistoric time? There is no documentation as such. So why can't we take help of archaeologists? Why can't we take help of people from geology to understand this and make uh, very useful interactive documentation of it? We require creative writers for that. We require the artist, commercial artists for that. We require 3D, the people who make 3D animations for us. So today's, or apps for that matter. So they may not be expertise, or they may not have any expertise in the field of environment, but at the same time, whatever skills that they have, can we make best use of those skills? So that is something which is very much required at this stage. So we have to gather the expertise from different domains, different strata. So after graduation, we can go for, as I said, we can adopt, make the specialization in law. So within 1 or 2 years, you can become legal advisor or counsel, then assistant manager in legal department of corporates, or you can become a law officer into government organizations, law firms or courts. So all this is very important because uh, every day the environment is changing. Every day we have to anticipate new and new things. For example, all those which is not considered in air and water pollution prevention and control acts is considered in the umbrella act, which is known as Environment Protection Act in 1986, where we could not mention e-waste because that was not pertinent that time. Biomedical waste was recently introduced. So all these aspects which are added every day is new day for defining the newer environmental problems. So how can we deal with these issues pertaining to biological diversity? Till the point there was a case for basmati and this turmeric, we have never intervened into the legal aspects of the important biodiversity elements. So they can be plants, animals, microorganisms pertaining to our own land, how people are misusing it. So how we can have better control on this through the strengthening of different law or regulatory mechanism. In such things, we can have freelance association or contractual association. The best example that I can cite here is there is a big need of people to translate the things. Now, in the recent decision by the Honorable Supreme Court, it is given that most of the EIA conditions, other than English and Hindi standard languages, that EIA report has to be translated in local language so that people can understand it better and raise their questions, queries at the time of, say, public hearing. Now, this is very essential fact and asset, which is made open for the people from languages and humanities and social sectors to translate it so as to have a proper conveying of the message of the either the rules regulations or the EI that is conducted by the firm or the decision that is given by the court. So all these levels requires a good translation system, and where expertise are required, which is a very welcoming area. Same is true with economics, and very recently it is calculated that by the end of 2030. 3 million jobs are waiting for the youth, which will tackle the situation of unemployment and so also the environmental degradation. So we require experts in renewable energy, waste management, green transport, vertical farming, terrace farming, urban farming. So these are the areas which we have to explore in today's situation. So there are prescribed standards in the fields of commerce and economics, standards for say environment, which are very common, talking about environmental audit, vertical horizontal communication, life cycle analysis, challenges in the environment at the scale of your industry. ISO 50,000 one certification talks about minimization of greenhouse effect through effective energy saving mechanisms. So it talks about energy management. Recently modified ISO 18,000 is ISO 45,001 certification talks about occupational health safety, which are to be reduced uh, in at the workplaces, and we have to give more safe working environments and reduce the chances of hazards. Indoor air quality, for example, ISO 16,040 element was introduced recently in last year to talk more about indoor air quality. So we have to uh, train people to the global language so as to have our own environmental jobs and career opportunities available. Sustainability, for example, any small event. So China and then Japan, they have organized smaller events or national or global events. And there they were talking about event sustainability. So how that particular total event is sustainably managed with available environmental resources. So that all was discussed in this ISO 20,121. So these are some engineering areas. Traditionally, we know that civil engineers are involved in waste treatment, but now they have to come out, they have to talk about ISO standards, they have to talk more about efficiency, they have to talk about the biological treatment and chemical treatment, putting them together. Mechanical people have to talk about sensing mechanism, optimizing the things, rearranging the conveyor belts. Electrical people should work more on adopting of non-conventional energy systems. Electronics should support them with sensing mechanism, how we can reduce the risks, how we can count the natural resources, the example that I have discussed is how to minimize the chances of forest fires. So instrumentation, people can equip us with the planning and designing of newer instruments at micro scale. Today we are blessed with nanotechnology, wherein we are talking about reduction at macro scales. Computer and IT, already we have discussed about the database, how huge amount of data can be managed. The manufacturing branch can help us in understanding the supply chain, how the transport can be optimized, minimized, how it can be switched on to the non-conventional or e-transport. All this is possible once we have expertise in different fields. So transport, sustainable, how system can be sustainably made. Now, it is not that there are no efforts. There are efforts, but they are sporadic. And we have to collect these efforts, showcase these efforts to other areas where meaningfully they can be implemented or followed. And for that, we want to have green architectures. We have good designers and planning, which is integral part of lead system. Least explored areas in this is low cost techniques, where we spend more of our energy in copying the system which are established in Western countries, and that lacks the change in the surrounding, the environmental conditions, climatic conditions, all everything changes, and the performance also will be affected because of this. So how can we have this balance of keeping it at low cost and still performing better? So here again we have to talk about indigenous solutions. How can we have more of a problem solving solutions? As I said, case to case basis we have to handle this. Utility by unskilled users. So how can we make the process simple that it can be easily used by the unskilled user, or can we train the people to make them skilled? On today, robotics or other engineering branches are talking about nature inspired technologies. So there are many animals, there are many features, plant processes, microbial processes, which inspires us in doing something which is for the betterment of environment. Another important area, these are uh, the girls from different corners of the globe working somewhere for carbon emission, for the protection of nature, forest, the tropical forest, saying no to the plastic, talking about rise in temperature, overall environment protection. And now this has come up as very important aspect where you have to study, understand, vocal about the environmental issues. You can use whatever field. So it can be from science, engineering, humanities, legal, any field can be explored, and you can have very strong support for the environmental things. Lead certification, just what we have said is talking about energy, environment, and design. So this is something where we are getting credit points based on the certification. So this is a very impactful career that is showcased for all of us. So I think this is all that I would like to share. There are many unseen, unexplored areas where experts from other domains, non-conventional, non-traditional domain, can also work for us. Or if you are part of that domain, you can contribute to the environment. This is just what I wanted to share by making use of this platform in today's scenario. So I think this is all from my side,
Yes.
and as I have requested, I have to leave. Uh, so all the questions can be compiled and I can answer. Is it possible?
Yes, sir, sure. The
Yes,
viewers can keep commenting their questions and views in the comment box, and we
yes,
shall convey it to sir.
yes,
Also, if anyone has doubt or any questions, you can contact him on his email ID maheshshindikar@gmail.com.
yes. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so much
Tanvi.
for
Thank you, Rajesh sir.
yes, sir. Thank you so much for associating with Purnam Ecovision Foundation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
So once again, I would like to appeal all our viewers to participate in the e-waste and plastic waste collection mega drive, which which we have scheduled on 28th August, the coming Sunday. Why we have selected this day has a special reason, as it is National Science Day on 28th February. So do participate and contribute your part, and execute your responsibility towards nature conservation and environmental conservation. So we are striving hard to contribute to our part, and also expecting you to take part in this mega drive. So we shall be eager to see you all at the centers near you. You can see the start of this video for the information. We have shared a QR code on the flyers and pamphlets which we have shared all over social media, and also have shared our helpline numbers. So you can contact us on those. Yes. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.